Good day to you, my fellow endless skeletons. I'm Kenetor and welcome back for another Starbase progress report. We're on week 20 of 2021, and if you're new here, I bring you the latest news and updates of everything Starbase every Monday. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss out. Plus, it really helps out the channel. Now let's get to it. The countdown to early access continues. 24 days to go until the launch of Starbase Early Access. Over in closed alpha, however, we saw many ships receive updates this week, as many have had new devices and designs tweaked. Many fixes were also added as usual, and Moon Gravity saw some changes to its system, with the hover system now starting at 30 meters. And once in hover mode, you need to raise your height to over 100 meters before it lets go of your ship and gravity kicks back in. The main addition in the patch though was the new company tag system that serves as an internal rating system. This is separate from the company ranks, and tags appear next to their names in the game world. Now sit tight and get comfortable, everyone, as we have a huge amount to go through this week to make up for the slow last week. Quotes from multiple devs, new devices, all the good stuff. To kick us off, we have a mini announcement from Junas, who is currently working on the ship designer user experience. He doesn't speak much on Discord, but this post is golden and tells us some good things. Now, I'm not going to read this verbatim, but the general gist is that they are really listening to and recording our feedback. So much so, he has collated a list of all the most requested features, of which top of the list is a mirroring tool, and that gets a +1 from me too. He says they have over 70 potential ideas waiting to be implemented. This is huge, that we will be getting so many upgrades over the long haul. He also gave us a quick overview of two things that are currently being worked on for the designer. First up is a keybind editor. Although underrated, keybinds when used properly will speed up your workflow dramatically. Secondly is a new visualization tool which will provide multitudes of visual information without the need for choosing a tool from the toolbox. This will help you debug your ship for potential problems that you may only run into after purchase, or track down an awkward problem you just can't find by yourself. This really shows how responsive the devs are, but we have to remember to be patient. I'm sure they have lists like this for a lot of different things, and it will take time, and a lot of it, to bring us all these improvements into the game. I just want people to know they don't ignore us as a community, and they're actively working hard to try and give us the things we want. And speaking of things we want, I also have some good news and some bad news from Joel. The Nvidia driver has finally been resolved with new drivers, and alpha invites are back in their hands. But they have decided to wait for some gameplay features to get ready before they invite more people, so those new players can test those features properly with fresh eyes. For me, this is a huge mistake. Not only have we had a pause on invites for far too long now, we're less than a month from launch and have yet to conduct any real-world, large-scale testing of the game systems. I really don't want to see a mistake made here by leaving it too late to test for large-scale usage. This has killed off interest in more than a few games before. It's not like there is even a shortage of people waiting for an invite. They have fresh eyes on tap. In fact, they could invite 10,000 players a week and still not run out of people waiting for invites. The devs are very confident their system can scale and support the amount of players they expect to buy the game and more. But just like when they had a backup issue, they had many multiple levels of redundancy fail only to be saved by the final one. If this happens on launch day, 90% of players run into issues, there will be refunds, anger, bad reviews, and people will leave never to return. So come on Frozen Byte, let's get these systems tested. We also got something no one expected to see in this week's progress report, and it also wasn't mentioned anywhere either. Brand new generators. These come in 3 new colours too, representing different tiers. Those keen-eyed among you will notice that these are the same colours used on the 3 different tiers of flight control units. So I reached out to the devs, and thankfully Vil came to our rescue to provide some further details. The blue generator is tier 1. It's not mixable with the others. Tiers 2 and 3, the red and yellow ones, however, can be mixed. Tier 1 is weaker than the current generator we have, but is very cheap and easy to make. Tier 2 is equal to the current generator we have, and Tier 3 will be superior. And interestingly, the Tier 1 generator doesn't even use the standard exorium as fuel, which is the main reason why it can't be combined with the other tiers. Also, the better generator is more expensive for materials and produces more power and consumes less fuel. Not only that, it's lighter and made of more durable materials. These are all the same size as the current generator, so you'll be able to upgrade your ship to use the better ones as you either buy them, find them, will take them. Phil also mentions the heat from these generators also differs between the tiers, with tier 1 running the hottest and tier 3 the coolest. He also shares the tier 1 generator is planned to use Bastium, Water and Nergite as its base materials, which are very common where Exorium may not be so common or readily available. This was a surprising change for generators and certainly not one I saw coming at all, so let me know what you guys think down in the comments. We also had an announcement this week, one that I've been expecting for a short while now. During closed alpha we have had weekly updates to bring us bug fixes and small or large features. I think we've been very fortunate to have such active updates to the game, but as the devs knuckled down for the final sprint to the finish line, making and prepping these patches takes up time they can ill afford to lose, and as such will only be patching as needed for content to test. This is a smart move, and if I'm honest, something they could have started doing a few weeks ago. Larry also chimes in on this change too, saying pretty much what I just told you, about slowdown due to prepping and building these patch deployments, as well as adding they want to shift to more stable patches beforehand, and that the main point is many large features are getting only finalised right around early access launch time. Our second quote answers something that I've seen a lot of you keep asking. Will there be a wipe? How many wipes? Will it wipe again after early access? Well, Larry says wiping after early access isn't really an option indeed, but rollbacks and lighter options exist of course. Balancing will most likely focus heavily on the new stuff rather than massively changing the old. And early access will be a fresh universe, and the plan is to keep that universe past the eventual 1.0 release. So after closed alpha we're going to see a total wipe, barring hopefully the blueprints of course. The universe will be reseeded, moons will be moved, material requirements will change, ore distribution around the universe will also dramatically change. This will reduce the knowledge pool us alpha players will have and give everyone a more fair footing, but the changes are made to make the game better and not since the alpha players know stuff. Now a bit more on those rollbacks I mentioned a second ago. Larry explains they can track and roll back exploited wealth. They have logs of everything and can even track single credits. It just takes some detective work, so you can be sure any exploiters found will have all their wealth erased. Jumping into our next Larry quote now, and we have some info on the game tutorials, something that is definitely needed for those who have never played before. Larry says they work tutorials based on when players will see certain features, and currently they have about 6 or 7 tutorials done. If you would rather work things out yourself, then there's also a pause system and the ability to choose tutorials from available, unlocked or completed lists. Only the first 3 are needed to get the starter ship, and they can be done in about 15 to 20 minutes. The rest are completely optional. After getting the ship, the next tutorial teaches you how to spawn the ship and how to fly it. After that comes how to fly to the belt and mine asteroids, and after that comes how to return with your loot and upgrade your ship. If for some reason you don't want the free ship from the tutorial, you're also not forced to get that either. Larry says they are improving tutorials all the time, and 20 minutes for a ship which would take even with a decent mining ship a lot longer is a fair deal. He knows the tutorials have been worse before, and they have also tested some less fun versions. Larry points out the dual universe tutorial here and confidently says Starbase's doesn't seem as long as theirs. If you haven't seen dual universe before, you can catch my live stream VOD and how much I hated the tutorial with the link in the top right. For the TLDR, it's bloody awful. Now let's get some smaller quotes out of the way and jump over for a quick tidbit on capital ships now, as I know many of you have been looking forward to arming them too. However, Larry says capital ships were designed to be carriers, so haven't put much thought into new weapon types for them, but tells us all the current weapons work fine. Although we should note the civilian shield does block all fire, that means from both inside and outside. Larry has also revealed the new origin station limits are not very large, at about 5,000 stacks at the moment, but they are still working on if this will be the final size or not. With someone else saying they should probably be much smaller, Larry agrees, but says at the same time, even 5,000 stacks is very limited, as you can build a 200 crate mining vessel in a matter of days, and you will fill 5,000 stacks with that within the next few days. So where do you put all this ore or equipment? Well, I think the original plan was you were to build a lot and then build additional storage there. My guess this will still be the case with whatever replaces lots, and you will be either renting and building these up on the starter stations or on some empty stations around the starter stations. This will give you both something to work on and use your hard-earned ore and credits on, as well as provide you with some much needed expanded storage. I will cover this as I know more. When I know, you will too. Or maybe one of the wonderful devs will let us know in the comments. Either way, you will need to decide what to keep and what to sell based on what you are creating at the time. Another change that is coming to early access compared to closed alpha is that they will nerf station buy prices a lot. Not only this, there will be a dynamic aspect to this too. When too many ores of one type are sold to a station, it will further reduce the price. We've got used to selling loads of ore to the station in closed alpha because, as Larry says too, there is nothing to do with it. So much so, in the last 2 to 3 months, Origin Station has bought 2,899,761 stacks of just Valkyrie alone. Generally, dev money systems will be geared towards drying up if they are used too much, and player markets will take over. This is a good call and will certainly help kickstart the player economy, as well as make selling to the station more of a last resort. The next quote I have found quite interesting. Larry says they don't want to do any large scale promotions before the full release of the game, in order to keep the wishlists and fanbase close to the core players they are looking for, and will be relying on organic growth for now. I think one of the main reasons for this will be down to the fact that the core type of players that like this sort of thing will be more understanding to its early access nature, and they will save the big promotion for when the entire experience is more fleshed out and complete, and new players can be welcomed in with all the support they need and into a bustling, thriving universe that's already alive. And this may not make sense. Surely, they would want to get as much money and return on the game as they can as quickly as possible, right? Well, not according to Lowry. He says making great games is his endgame, not a pile of money. However, he doesn't mind the money since he has 100 plus devs, which doesn't come cheap. But money isn't the sole point. He then further comments that if they get too much money, as if there is such a thing, they will just scale the team to 300 or 500 and bam, problem solved. And that also may result in getting an even better game even faster. And to finish our quotes off, I have just one last one for the doubters and naysayers that think there will just be another delay. Lowry says he would love to, but reality dictates it's impossible. Ready or not, the game releases on the 17th of June. You can worry about it or be excited. Which will you choose? Now don't go anywhere, and let's dive in to this week's progress report. Design features returns, with design for the item crates and new inventory has been updated. 12 by 12 cm and 12 by 36 cm ducts have been added to the ship designer. Mining backpack splitting feature has been tested, functions now the same way as with ore crates. Work on easy build mode continues. Capital ship fast travel core design has been worked on, and I can't wait to see this one. I really hope they go all out for it. And work on the ore distribution overhaul and crafting material overhaul continues. Now onto the gameplay updates. The effective area of cargo frames have been increased, so it should be possible to snap carried objects against the cargo frame beams. Blueprint filler for repairing and building ships has been implemented. Mining backpack drag and drop or split feature has been worked on. Various bug fixes related to tripods has been worked on. Rehosting issues with the Station Blueprint multiplayer have been worked on. Capital ship content reloading when starting or ending the warp travel has been fixed. Solution to prevent station utility pipe networks from functioning if the network contains any open pipe ends has been implemented. And substations have been added. Substations can be interacted with to connect nearby station devices to the substation's network. That's right, if you hadn't guessed yet, just like capital ships, stations too will require its own network of resources, be it moving ores, power or gases around the station. Hopefully this can be tested soon in closed alpha. UI updates this week. Our first UI design phase of capital ship device screens has been finished. New tutorial for easy build mode has been worked on. Implementation of station building easy build mode features has begun. Already completed tutorials can now be revisited in any order using the new tutorial selection window and tutorial options in the settings window. Work on personal and company ship access UI has continued. player messages and invites have been made ignorable, and company and trade invites have also been made ignorable. Audio returns with a few updates this week. Fix for handling of unconfigured sounds in parts of missiles and torpedoes has been made, and audio signal devices playing several sounds at once has been fixed. In designers this week, we have moving ore to crates inside the ship designer test mode has been prevented. Foundation modules have been made to snap to existing heights properly, and capital ship dock building is in progress. We have just one animation update this week, with new animations when carrying objects while unarmed have been worked on. In station art this week, we have cargo area module has been finished, and asteroid hauling hall decorations have been updated. And lastly, other updates this week, our first version of easy build mode labourer ship has been created. Fuelrod printer mesh has been created. This is another brand new factory device and a key one to allowing living away from a dev station. Work on several tall VFX continues, and reticules have been added to tripod autocannon. There's no feature video this week, but don't forget, if you do get into closed alpha, already are, be sure to send any funny or awesome clips and recordings my way for a chance to be featured on the channel. Feel free to contact me via Discord, or come jump on my Discord server, which is also home to my faction, the K-Bots, should you be looking for one to join. As always, please smash that like button, share this video with your friends and faction, leave a comment with any questions you want answers to, and I'll see you in the next one. Kenetor, out.